Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Sean Richards.
Blessings, 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 blessings. Greetings, 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 everybody, greetings. So everybody must be wondering, what the hell is going on? Why is Chopper live? Yeah. Why am I live? All right. I'm live. So greetings, 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 everybody. Greetings, greetings.
I must admit to you that I have to get accustomed to calling Labour rights because in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Labour Party is the opposition. But I could tell you one thing, that ain't a real Labour Party. This is the real Labour Party. That Labour Party mashed up the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis for 20 years. But as I come here to Jamaica, I see that the Jamaica Labour Party, is a party that has building Jamaica at the forefront of its mind.
Yeah. Build it. Greetings, greetings, greetings. So we're gonna open up the phone line so we can have some discussion, some serious political discussions. Because we see some where are we? We see some political strategy being deployed by that corrupt entity there from 89 Old Hope Road. And I think we have a responsibility. Yeah. Hold on there. Yes, so people might be wondering, yeah man, Rock and Cubby, we're gonna have some serious chat, man. We are going to speak, and speak we will. Yeah. The truth, when pressed to earth, will always rise, they say. Huh? Quite a few things to talk about. Rock and come in, folks. We could have some good political discussion this morning and debunk some of these propagandas and lies that has been out there in the public space. I think we can do that effectively. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So, yeah, man. Rock and come in. Rock and come in. Rock and come in. Rock and come in the scene.
I'm really here at the right time to feel the love.
Yeah.
But I want to say to the Jamaica Labour Party, continue to build Jamaica. Continue to ensure that unemployment is at its lowest.
At its lowest.
To ensure that the economy is thriving, because it means that you, the people of Jamaica, have more money in your pockets. You, the people of Jamaica, are doing better than you ever have under this Jamaica Labour Party. And before I leave, it would be remiss of me if I did not acknowledge the good people of Southwest St. Elizabeth.
Southwest St. Elizabeth. Yeah. Southwest St. Elizabeth. All right. So yes, folks. Who if we talk about? Who if we talk about? Because I realize the attacks and personal attacks on members and individuals who dare to even cross path with the PNP. So you can't criticize the PNP. You dare not, because the image that have been built up over years, um, the image that has been built up over the years, um, has been guarded and protected for so long, and you dare not challenge it. You see, the People's National Party have consistently created an image in the minds of Jamaicans to suggest that Michael Manley is the best thing that has ever happened to Jamaica. That's the image that have been created over the years. And it was created at a time when literacy level was extremely low and access to information was next to nothing. Fast forward to today, where the access to information is extremely high and the literacy level has improved. So what pertains then certainly doesn't carry now. So the image and the lies and the propagandas that have been fed to the people, creating, like I said, this false narrative that Michael has done the best thing for Jamaica, that is now being challenged. And it is being challenged by just about everybody. People who are aligned to the Jamaica Labour Party and people who are just common citizens, people in the corporate world, people everywhere start to realize that they have been fed a steady diet of misinformation over the years. The claims, some of which is just an open lie. The PNP has constantly make it seem as though some of the best times in Jamaica was under their leadership, right? So if we were to go back to the 1950s, where bauxite was king, 40s coming into 50s, 60s, bauxite was king, our economy in Jamaica grew like no other. Like no other. And like the great man himself, Cliff Hughes, said in a commentary recently, there are certain countries now from which we take products and equipment and stuff. There are certain countries that were worse than us back in the 60s and 70s. But because we went off road, we lost our way under Michael. And even today, we're still trying to find our way back. That's how devastating that thing was. The argument that I want to make is to explain to people why it is that I personally believe that the PNP should never be re-elected in Jamaica. And here's why. Because it's quite simple, you know. If you take the era since 1962, since we became an independent nation, and you look at the growth in the economy and the growth in the population and the growth in the economy, you would recognize that from 1962 until today, every period in which the PNP would have led this country, the economy declined and the standard of living for persons went down. Now, if what I am saying is true, then why should one elect the PNP? Let us go back to 1962, you know. From 1962 right up until now, let's go back and look at the two periods and look at all the period in which the JLP would have managed the economy and the PNP managed the economy. And you can decide In 1972, well, in the late 60s, 68 into 70, 72, the economy grew. I think it was the highest growth in our economy, somewhere in the region of 12 to 14%. Certainly in 1972, when the JLP lost the elections, the PNP got an economy growing at about 9.5% or close to that. And from 1972 to 1975, we were broke. We didn't have the money. The country broke because we had a leader at the time who just was lost. He was caught up with his own personal ideology to the extent that he couldn't see the big picture. Right? And this is what people fail to understand. Had it been an Andrew Holness in 1972, Jamaica today would be a first world country. Jamaica would be a first world country had it been a leader with the foresight and vision like an Andrew Holness. Jamaica would be a first world country today. And I'll tell you why. In the 1960s, when bauxite was king, we brought in some of the major investors into Jamaica, some of the largest mining companies from North America into Jamaica, and started to mine bauxite and export it out of here. Now, at the time, that perhaps was the best thing that could have been done with the natural resources that was discovered. And I will go back again and said, had it been a leader like Andrew Holness, we would have I would not see these comments. We would have gone down a road where, okay, so yeah, so had it been Andrew Holness who was leading Jamaica at the time, we would have engaged these persons, you know, these huge bauxite companies that were in Jamaica. These huge bauxite companies that were in Jamaica at the time could have been engaged, and a discussion could have been had whether or not it was the best thing to export bauxite out of Jamaica or to set up shop here and to complete the end products right here in Jamaica. But those discussions were never had. Those discussions were never had because, for whatever it's worth, the powers that be at the time, Joshua chose, and let me just fix this thing here. I think it's on friends only, so folks can't share the contents. But yes. Hi, Paula, how you do? Yeah, I couldn't see the comments at all, but I guess I can see it now. So folks, so the number is up if you guys want to call and weigh in. Cheryl, how you do? Nadine, how you do? Celestina, what's going on? But here's the deal. So had we engaged these bauxite companies back into this in the 70s, in engaging them with the arrogance that Manley did. Because what Michael Manley did, you know, essentially was to go to these bauxite companies and say, look here, eggs are young ones. You either pay a tariff or you go out. Because they're so narrow-minded that they couldn't see. They couldn't see what China saw. Right? When the Americans went to China and set up shop, thinking that they were going to exploit them for labor, sweatshops and to build products, the Chinese capitalized on that opportunity and changed their standard of living from being the poorest country in the world to become the second largest growing economy on earth, because they saw a future in what others saw as oppression or as exploitation. Michael Manley at the time figured more than less that the bauxite companies coming into Jamaica were just coming here to take our bauxite and export it out of the country. So instead, what he did was to put a levy on them and say, pay more money. So he gets more cash in his pocket to distribute for his cronies, and the rest of the country suffer. So the country lacked foresight back in the 70s under Michael Manley, because if he had engaged those bauxite companies, 3 or 4 of them, right, and said to them, look, instead of exporting this bauxite out to Russia and to whomever, why not bring the factories here and build the products that you're taking this out to build it here so my people can benefit? But when you not have no negotiating skills and all you depend on is arrogance, the arrogance gets you the result. It gets you the same result. It gets you the same result that you got, because you believe that arrogance is the order of the day. So you know, sit down with the bauxite company and engage them in a discussion. You instead tell them to pack up and leave. And then you not only speak to the bauxite company in that manner, you told the very Jamaicans, the small man in Jamaica, that they need to hold a flight because there's 5 flights a day to Miami. And you run out the people with capital, and then you sit here now and you blame everybody else, and you blame the CIA, and you blame America, and you blame everybody else except yourself. Well, I have to give you some credit too, because at the end of the day, Michael Manley did come back around to say he apologized for some of the decisions he had made, and if he had an opportunity to do it again, he would have done things different. But the handlers and followers of Michael Manley, who idealize him and think he's God, they seem to miss that part of the statement that Michael made. Michael Manley apologized for his decisions and the position and the issues, but his followers seem not to accept his apology. Even when the man who coined the thinking about socialism, democratic socialism, coined by Michael Manley, even when him apologized and admit that perhaps was a wrong direction in which to go, the followers still did not accept that. Joan Morris, how you do? Jennifer Brooks, what's going on? So there's a number that you can call, folks, and I'm going to also post the link to the live. If you guys want to join us, please feel free. There's a link in the chat, and I'm going to try to pin it at the top of the discussion. So if you guys, yeah, so that's the link right there. It's in the chat itself. I'm going to see if I can. All right, so it's in the chat. So you guys can scroll. You can click on it if you want to join the discussion. But yeah, so that's the part of the whole, and that's why it is important for persons to know these things. So Michael Manley, just by taking the wrong decision and taking us off course, because there's no way you can get an economy growing at 9%, right into the era when every country in the world is bubbling up. So they have a history now. Because in the 1960s, you have the new industrial revolution where cars and motor cars becoming a hotbed in countries. And Michael Manley did not display the level of leadership to get Jamaica into that era where we could benefit, even though we had one of the main ingredients that supply that industrial revolution. We had one of the main ingredients, bauxite, but we still couldn't capitalize because we didn't have the leadership to bring us there. And if you notice, there's a pattern, because if you go back to the 1990s again, when the rest of the world was going through the internet bus, when the internet was king, right, and www was being the order of the day, and people started to jump on the whole idea of the internet. right? And other countries were starting to develop software and all that stuff, and countries just grow. Every single economy in the world was bubbling up. This was the 1990s. And if you go back and look again on the PNP, we lost 40,000 jobs went down, businesses went down. 40,000 business. In the 1970s, under the PNP, we lost over 25 to 30% our GDP. And it's a similar thing. I don't know what the GDP loss was in the 1990s, but it must have been significant if the banking sector collapsed, right? And people are out of jobs and people are losing their businesses all over. It tells you that something was afoot. So there's a pattern that the PNP carries. The 1970s, we lost an entire generation. And in the 1990s, again, under their leadership, we lost another generation. So my argument is always, if you have that history to carry with you, why should people vote for the PNP? Why? Why are they even campaigning when you have a history that you cannot present to the people? No. If the argument is correct and they don't have a history of performance to present to the people, now you understand why it is that they have to take the position they are taking now, which is to use other method of campaigning, to smear people's reputation, to attack, to incite violence, which is also another part of the PNP's mantra. They've done it in the 1970s, my friends. They did it in the 1990s. And if ever they're given another chance at it, they'll do it again. Right? So we open up the link. The link is in the chat if you guys want to join us real quick for a quick discussion. We won't be long, but we're just testing a little new thing that we're going to be doing very, very, very shortly. It's going to be centered mainly on our YouTube channel, which is Chaps Media. Blessings, brethren. Greetings. All right, so we have a first guest joining us. So we can't even see the eye, brethren. We're not getting any audio. Blessings. Yeah, man. Give thanks.
Hey, man, yeah, I little thing for tough time.
Hold on a second, brother. I mean, I hear you so good and your background a little bit noisy. So, hear the link. If you're going to come live, you have to make sure your background is quiet. We don't want no disturbance, and we're not going into the pasa politics. So if you come, make we talk some serious politics and make we get deep into the issues and let us deal with them upfront and personal, not the cascas and pasa. So fix your background before you come. Make sure your lighting good and make sure your audio is clear. The noise in the background, we now can hear you. See? So blessings again, my brethren.
Yo, Papa, you hear me now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, I say, I'm going to fake news for anything, man.
No, you're in, brother. Still have noise in your background, man.
Huh?
Yeah, man, go ahead now.
May I say Lambert run with some fake news on Twitter?
Yes.
But may I say about Christopher Teston, man.
Well, you see, look here. We're not depend this to get into people's personal life, my brethren. People's personal life is for persons who don't have nothing to do. If you have time on your hands to delve into people's bedroom, then you really don't have no purpose on earth. So that's the kind of story. Me not really entertain it. Me not have no space for it. When I
go Dr. Ryan Simpson for the program.
Dr. Ryan Simpson?
Yeah, man.
Tell Dr. Ryan Simpson the program is open, man, whenever he wants. It's a people's program and not my own.
Oh.
And the candidates program. Look how easy you get on.
Eh?
Look how easy you get on.
We don't know, man. I link with man.
You're on the chopping block, you know.
Yeah, man.
Just a click away. So tell Dr. Ryan Simpson that whenever he is ready, he can come through. You're from that constituency?
Yeah, man. We're that constituency, man.
Okay, so what's happening on the grounds down there?
You know, so Lisa pick up sign in a Claremont, man.
Huh?
I said Lisa pick up sign.
Okay. 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 Well, all right. Well, you can pass the word on. Tell Dr. Ryan Simpson the program is open whenever he has time and wishes to come on, eh?
What do you think about JC Hutchinson?
About who?
JC Hutchinson land.
JC Hutchinson?
Yeah.
Listen to me carefully. JC Hutchinson have more land than what exists at Holland Estate. You hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
JC no need Holland Estate land to be rich.
Yeah.
JC born rich.
Yeah.
And even if God give him twice the amount of age, he will still be rich.
Yeah.
Half of Lacovia, from the primary school to the basic school to the community center to the post office, all of these were lands donated, not sold, donated by JC Hutchinson. Give to the community. So when you listen to propaganda and noise, stay focused, my brethren.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the noise. It's the political season, and you will find persons coming from all walks with all kinds of story. So don't get too caught up in that. But blessings, my brethren. Respect for the link, and you can always come through.
Yeah, man, all the best.
Give thanks, brother. Cool. Yeah, man. So the brethren there are coming from down the southeast, St. Anne. You know, blessings, Alex Higgs, Beverly Finley, big up yourself, Warren, enough respect. Yeah, but as the gentleman touched on JC, and perhaps I didn't even want to go there, you know, but who cares? You're there already, might as well just go there. JC Hutchinson is somebody I know personally, you know. Somebody I know very well. Very, very, very well. And like I explained to the gentleman a while ago, let me ask a question. And I see a whole heap of people in the chat who are probably 100 and not deep. But let me ask you guys a question. If the Attorney General, Marlene Malahoo Fort, has a daughter and a son, and they went to law school, pursued their studies, and decided to become a lawyer or a judge or being appointed as a judge, would that be a conflict of interest? Should the Attorney General's son or daughter who wishes to become a judge, like their mom, would that be a conflict of interest if Marlene Malahoo Fort, the AG daughter or son, ever pursue the line of becoming a judge? How would that be? Is it that she could not be appointed a judge simply because her mom is the AG? I want to think about these things, you know. I want to think about these things because some of the things that we're getting so excited about and people don't tend to realize that it is just political nonsense. It's time Jamaica move away from this nonsense, you know. This world everybody run around with talk about nepotism. You tell me where in governance nepotism is illegal. Tell me one person that has ever gone to jail because of nepotism. And let us we need to deal with nepotism. And we need to deal with it openly and frankly. And we can say this without fear of contradiction. If I have somebody in my constituents who work for me, right? If I decide to run for a seat and somebody work for me, support me, right? Walk with me, help me to win my seat, and I become the member of parliament, and this individual is qualified, and mark my words, you know, qualified, and has gone through the proper process of whether acquiring land, getting a job, bidding on a contract, whatever it is. The person work for me, the person's qualified, and they go through the proper process. Should that person be disqualified simply because they're aligned to me? Does that make any sense at all to you? Can't make no sense. It doesn't add up. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. So because your son, because you're the Minister of Agriculture, I'm gonna put it out there. Because you know people tend to skirt around. Me no skirt around nothing at all, you know, because me no depend on nobody payroll. So me no skirt around nothing. Me not have to ask permission from nobody to speak. So me speak openly. So because your son, you're the Minister of Agriculture, it is quite natural, you know, that your kids, especially if you're a good father, your kids usually follow in your footsteps, you know. Yeah, your kids, it's quite natural. If you're a good father, your kids will follow along your footsteps. So if J.C. Hutchins is a farmer by trade, right? And his wife is a farmer by trade, and they have a son, it is very natural that he could the son could pursue the same line of career. So because your father is the Minister of Agriculture and they are developing a plot of land, over 1,000 acre land is being developed, and you as a child see an opportunity that you could benefit from, is it that just by virtue of your connection, so no longer is it beneficial for you to be the father, friend, or close relative, or close companion, or good friend of somebody in a high office? It's not beneficial to you, because it means that the man's son see an opportunity. Him can't seize the opportunity because he's automatically disqualified just by virtue of the fact that your father is a minister. Desmond Mackenzie's son had gotten a job, I think, with the Solid Waste company. And just because his father was a minister, nobody cares whether or not he went through the proper procedure. Nobody cares whether or not he was qualified. The only thing people see is the fact that are your father. So what do you do? How do we develop people in this country? Oh, so because you're the father of a politician, you can't drive a decent car because automatically a taxpayer money buy it. You can't own a business because according to people, automatically it is nepotism and cronyism that gets you it. No, what people now need to start doing is saying, look, let us look at the process. Because who better to be my secretary than somebody I know? Should I depend on the ministry to hire me a secretary based on some criteria that them set up for themselves? In politics is 99.999% trust. And then me can keep people in my circle who me trust, who me ever trust. So this whole argument about nepotism is nonsense. And it's time the politicians start to tell themselves and others that this is rubbish. This running away from, well, as the minute somebody accuses you of nepotism, you don't resign. What do you mean? It means you don't believe in what you do. You want conviction. I don't give a rat's ass. Nobody is closer to me than people I know and people I can trust. Why should I go hire a PNP to be my secretary? And that is what is happening. The PNP wants the GLP to be so transparent to the extent that even the secretary should be recommended by the PNP. What utter nastiness and nonsense. And then we have some wimp in our little corner now, who the minute the PNP come out and say, crucify him, then drive a nail to him hand. And if the Prime Minister continue to set the precedents, where every time the PNP ball out to somebody head, your hand, you give them pan platter. One day them are going to ask you your one too. Yes, them are going to ask you your head too, Mr. Wallace.
And when they get to that level, you're going to have a decision to make. Because you're going to have a protocol that has been established. And you're going to have to follow it. So you need to decide if every time PNP come out and say them want somebody head, you're going to give them. You have to decide. Because of the politics run. The People's National Party is a bunch of mischief makers. And what they should be busy doing now, as was recommended by Karensa Morrison some time ago, they should be huddling some corner trying to figure out how they can apologize to Jamaica. How are they going to apologize to Jamaica for 1972 to 1980? Eh? When half the country's GDP went up the tube. That is what they should be busy focusing on, you know. They should be busy crafting a message to explain to young Jamaicans who are now ready to vote what happened from 1989 until 2007. That is what the PNP should be busy focusing on. And because they can't come up with anything substantial to tell voters, then they resort to attacking, going after people's personal life, going after people's relatives, trying to tear them down and smear their names into public space. I'm happy that some of the politicians now, people like Andrew Wheatley and Query, I'm happy that they're now gathering the balls, because they never have the balls in the first place. The minute them come out about Petrojam, everybody run up and down and forget that Petrojam existed long before Wheatley get there, long before Query was chairman of the board. But them afraid, they never get the balls to deal with it. But now, me see like them start to get themselves together now, and I realize even the agencies that were set up to investigate these things have now proven themselves to be incompetent. Because one agency just apologized recently that, boy, they have gotten it wrong. Gotten it wrong, my ass, with people name and people repetition, and you get it wrong. The damage already done. Wheatley name get dragged through the mud. If him walk a road, them look for him and call him Petrojam. And people have to take them something likely. So when them accuse the Holland whatever company and classify them as the whole process of cronyism and nepotism, when hundreds of farmers down there will benefit. This is the only time a project has come on stream where it seemed to me like it benefit the common man. Yes, when the PNP sold out of money to benefit Little White, right? The same man who is championing the Holland land deal was the main guy on the board, on the NHT board, when they sold out of money, a piece of property for millions. We can't even raise goat on it right now. Eh? And then you have the nerve now to come and tell people about you have letter and you have this and you have that. It's time we start to tell people the truth and man up to them. No cow, no run away, resign. Eh? As if a PNP are run things. PNP are call the shop. Labour right win, but PNP are call the shop. No, go some. We need to develop the balls. We need to develop the balls to start tell these people the truth. Olive Valentine, Winchester Johnson, Kizzy Perry, big up yourself. Costas Brown, I see you. Costas Brown, Beverly Finley, Kevin, how you doing? Wayne, how you do? Doval, big up yourself. It's important, man. It's important that we start to aggressively defend our position on the issues. It can't be that we sit back and just allow the PNP to dictate. The PNP who frankly don't have a moral footing to stand on. If a land, them cannot speak to anybody. Run it to it, get thousands of Jamaican land for no deal. Paul Robertson get the same thing. So if a land, me could not go there. If you're talking about corruption on a general scale, do not go around this up. Because Philip Palwell has been dragged in more corruption than anybody else in this country. Than anybody else. Billions of Jamaican dollars. So we don't need to point finger and try to tear people down. If the PNP want to be relevant, you tell Jamaican people from 1972 until 1979, what have you done for Jamaica? If you want to be relevant, you tell the Jamaican people from 1989 until 2007, what have you done for Jamaica? And if you cannot give the Jamaican people something substantial, then it's perhaps time for you to shut your mouth and revamp. Get yourself reorganized. The polls out there show. The polls tell you that the Jamaican people don't want to hear from you. And I don't believe in a one-party system. I believe that we must have a viable opposition. We must have a responsible opposition. We cannot have an opposition who can defend themselves. We can run on a track record. But instead, you create mischief and you create controversy. You put every single measure in controversy. And you try to make it look as though, you know, the sky is falling. The fellow saw an opportunity. And you know, let me tell you something. Me no have no political aspiration now. But if one day me should wake up and have political aspiration, and God bless me and me get into parliament, and me can say it publicly, that whole argument of nepotism will be dealt with upfront. Because it is a discussion that must be had. Because what people are conceiving to be nepotism, I want to ask, what is the option? Me ask the question, you know, me say, if the AG daughter or son were to pass the bar, get called to the bar and decide to go on the bench, would that be a conflict of interest? Would that be a conflict of interest? So just by virtue of you being the Attorney General, your daughter or son cannot be a judge because that is nepotism. Huh? So whatever ministry I am a part of, my child cannot do any business in that has any oversight for that ministry, because then it is automatic in the eyes of most people that this is a conflict of interest. It is something that we must discuss. It is a discussion that we must put out there in the open public, and we must deal with it honestly. Who is better to be a part of your inner circle? Somebody recommended by the opposition, or somebody you trust, somebody who you know, somebody who work with you? Could deal with the nepotism. We need to deal with these things because it has lingered in our psychics, it has lingered in our political space for a long time. And we've seen it when the PNP was in office, and we see it now. I think it is time for us to deal with it openly and say to persons, look here, you either set a different standard, or we deal with this one openly enough that it doesn't carry. Because right now it really doesn't make any sense. Michael Brown, Senior, see you. Kwame Turner, Raja Chang, big up yourself. Good to see you. Lorenzo Ebanks, good to see you. Damian Clark. I see everybody joining us. So we're gone past the time we had wanted to be here for. We want to run for a little bit. But I'll tell you another thing that I saw coming full circle, which reminds me of the 1970s, is what is happening in Western St. Andrew, where I gather that Darlan H. Francis, the candidate there, is, according to some people, kicking up a storm. a lot of persons there who supported the People's National Party have now indicated that they are basically switching their allegiance and want to give the Jamaica Labour Party a chance. And I think that's a smart move, because anybody at all who live in Jamaica over the last 30 years and I've seen how things have progressed, especially under this Andrew Holness-led administration, will agree that Jamaica deserve this kind of leadership and, you know, wants to continue it. And if you're a supporter of the other side, you would also want to consider giving support to this party. Now, I walk the ground a lot, you know. I go into different constituencies and help out with other candidates. And one of the things I've noticed, even in some of the strong PNP areas, is that persons are saying, look, I like what is happening. I like the direction in which the country is going. I like the fact that the government is doing good. And I am going to give them a chance. One lady said to me, I am going to give you a chance, but it doesn't mean I am not a comrade. And that is kind of like, I kind of appreciate that. Because I'm not going to trust or expect anybody to just jump from being a comrade into becoming a Labourite overnight. But what I would expect is that you vote intelligently and you vote honestly. It doesn't change you. A vote for Andrew Holness doesn't make you less of a comrade. And I would urge persons living in strong PNP areas to start thinking, you know, do I continue the line of prosperity? Do I continue with a government that outlines a clear path to prosperity? Or do I upset the apple cart by going back to the People's National Party, who in truth and in fact has a very, very checkered history? So we have a choice. We have a choice. And I implore persons to start to think along that line. Start to think along the line of a vote for JLP in this election does not take away the fact that you're a comrade. And with those words, I will say peace. And we are going to be out. Davian Paddy, I haven't seen you in a long while, man. How you been? Good to see you on. We see Kizzy Perry over there in Europe. Good to see you, Kizzy. So again, folks, we are going to be doing a little online discussion very soon. It will be for an hour, and that hour will be from, I think, between 9 and 10 or 8:30. Sorry, 9:30 for 8:30 to 10, somewhere along that region. We'll look at it and we'll explore it. It will be live on our YouTube channel, and there will be the options for you to call or join the discussion. From time to time, we'll have our guest on as well to discuss some of the topical issues and the political grounds. We have done some walks, and we want to also do a program later on in the weekend where we will analyze some of those seats and we will give our honest opinion on how many seats that we believe that the Jamaica Labour Party will take home if an election is called before the year ends. So we will put that out there hopefully sometime this week, and we invite you guys to join us. Again, it was lovely. Carolyn Moore, good to see you. Morning to you too. Let me see if I can take a few. Morning. That's a good question. Is it nepotism? Is it nepotism if a member of parliament, family, relatives, or wife run on a party ticket? Again, that's why I'm saying to you that it's a discussion that needs to be had, because nobody knows where this is going to stop. Yeah, nobody know where this is gonna end. But no, it's certainly not nepotism. It's not nepotism for that. Um, Big up yourself, Warren. Jayan, how you do? And if you have any questions, guys, feel free. If you guys want to come live and ask a question, I can spare another 4 minutes or 3 minutes. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask. Yeah. So as it relates to as it relates to our predictions might not be as sophisticated as a Dan Anderson or a Bill Johnson. One thing I can tell you is that we have gone on the grounds in almost all constituencies, and we would have gathered the information, which is credible information, and from that information, we will be predicting what we think will be the seats that Jamaica Labour Party can and in most cases will win. Magnus, blessings, my brethren. How is Atlanta? Good to see you. Philip Edwards, good to see you. So we're going to do that analysis, and we're going to do that analysis based on the information that we would have gathered in all the seats that we have visited. There's a couple of seats that we have not visited yet, even though there's data there, but we want to get our own independent data so we can release the information out there, and that will give you, and that thought analysis will not be unbiased, will not be biased. Sorry, so not biased. It won't be biased. We will put it out there as we see it. So if we walk into your constituency and we figure more than less that you, based on what we saw, based on the feedback we get from constituents, is that you might not bring it over the top. We're gonna say it. We're gonna say it. Big up, Bridget. How you do? Jennifer Bennett. Good to see you. We're gonna say it. So hopefully, if we can't do it this weekend, we perhaps might do it early next week. So the night show is to highlight new candidates and to speak to the big guys. And in the daytime, we will deal with the raw, uncut, uncensored politics. So again, folks, I'm not going to stay too long with you. If nobody has any questions, then let's see if we have any other question here. Oh, do I think there will be conference in November? I want to say no, but again, there's some other dynamics at play. I don't think there will be, and that's my honest views. My honest view. Any other question? Any other question? Paulo, 42 to 21. 42 to 21. Melanie Mason, JLP 43 to 45 seat. Wow. Nadine Dacre says St. Elizabeth, all 4 seats going JLP. Those are some serious guns. Somebody said 53 seat for the JLP. Wow. This is quite impressive. Audrey Michelle Blake. Wow, from UK. There you go. And that's one of the reasons why we want to do this in the daytime, because we have fans and friends all over the world. And the UK folks have always said to me, boy, they can't tune in when we're live on the night show. So, you know, I think this will give them a good chance to be a part of the whole thing. Janice, how you doing? Southeast St. Mary. Southeast St. Mary Lockman. Southeast St. Mary Lock. But yeah, I mean, you see, anywhere we're asked to go, and once we can make it, we will go. If we believe, or the candidates believe, that we can add value
of any sort, we are 100% willing and ready to go. It's all about the greater good. 51 seats, says Alexandra. I got you, my brother. Dave Cameron says Northeast St. Catherine. Yeah. Machette Williams. What's my count? I can't, like I said to you, the data that we have gathered over the last few years and recently, those data as we speak is being analyzed. We are out by about 4 or 5 seats that we need updated information on. Once those information reach us, then we will put out a comprehensive analysis of what we believe will be the seats that the JLP will win. Jayan, how you doing? We, the law-abiding citizens, are the biggest part of the crime issue in our country. Crime, wow, that's another issue that we probably need to touch on too, because everybody knows my position on crime. I believe that crime is something that needs a particular approach. If anybody have been following me over the years, I've always stated that I believe that the police force is inherently corrupt, and corrupt to the extent that it's beyond repair. That has been my position for years. That has been my position. Have the police improved over the last few years? I think so. I think the police, I think they have made some headway. The PNP consistently ask about a crime plan. And that's another thing that we have to address, because really and truly, what is a crime plan? You know? And do we have a history of implementing crime plans? And if we do have a history of implementing crime plans, what has been the results? Have any of those crime plans implemented prior to now, have they ever worked? Now, if we can answer these questions, then that would probably determine whether or not we should be lobbying for a crime plan, or we should be going with something different. Now, I believe that the Jamaica Labour Party has a different approach, where they believe that the most effective crime plan is to improve the economy and improve the standard of living for the people. I believe that that is the most accurate crime plan. So therefore, I will always yield to that plan, because I believe that plan will work. Let's see. Yeah, but you see, people. I'm getting some messages here, folks, that I have to. I was trying to respond to while we're talking, and that's why I want to have the show, because there's so many persons out here with an opinion and want to say some stuff, but you know, we're not facilitating that. But like I said, folks, I'm going to pursue this as something that we have to run with, and run with it big time. So stand by. Let's take a little quick break and we'll come right back. We'll come back and then we just wrap up. You know, we get sometime a little carried away in this thing, and we have to maintain some order. Let's take a break and then we come right back.
This is our home, Jamaica, and tourism is the lifeblood of our country. Let's all feel good again. Whether with family or friends, we want you to enjoy your staycation.
We have to ensure that they are comfortable, they feel well protected.
New standards are in place to ensure your safety. We are here to serve you better, so you can have the best experience. Come out and rediscover Jamaica.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
Rediscover Jamaica.
Heartbeat of the world.
Listen me. Come rediscover Jamaica, the heartbeat of the world. Because tourism is the lifeblood of our country, and it is an important industry. We want every Jamaican to support we. From Niggle Point go straight back to Porty. You are we number one priority. We are do everything to secure your safety. Tell it to your neighbor, family and friends. Join us and start feel good again. Come join us and feel good again. Jamaican heartbeat. Jamaica. Come join us and feel good again. Can you feel it? Sure. Come join us and feel good again. Jamaican heartbeat. Love it. Come join us and feel good again. Heartbeat of the
Yeah, man. The one thing she missed most is the guest. All right, folks. So, again, let me say thank you to the folks who jump in here and log with us for a minute. This, I'm hoping, is going to be a staple. Like I said, the time will be from 9 till 10 or 8:30 till 10 o'clock. It's going to be an hour and a half, 90 minutes slot in the mornings. From 8:30 up until 10 o'clock, and we will have some frank and open discussions that we would not have on the Sunday nights when we bring those candidates and those high profile persons on. Can you imagine that night when we have the most honorable Bro God, who is already booked? Can you imagine on the 10th show, which is 3 weeks or 2 weeks from now, when we have the First Lady of Jamaica, the Honorable Juliet Holness, on? Can you imagine when my friend from EP, from East Portland, the Honorable Anne-Marie Vaz, can you imagine when we have her on? Can you imagine when the real Jenna himself, when the real General himself from Central St. James, the King of Road, Leroy Anthony Clark, can you imagine when he's on with his able team of counselors? Can you imagine when he's on? So we have all these things in the bag lined up. We have also some international people who's going to join us too. So stay tuned, stay logged, and we appreciate you guys always. Every time we hit live, you guys have always been there to support us and to share and to tell your friend and to participate and to give us good ideas. So this is another good idea. The phone lines will be open, the video calls will be open starting this week coming, and it's going to be a day show. Darlan H. Francis is going to be on with us as well. George Yapis, the original George Anderson, the man who sits in a lot of history of the Jamaica Labour Party, will be on. So we'll be here to tell you the history. So you won't have any convoluted argument out there. You will be loaded with facts. So you can go out there and defend your position as it relates to the performance of the GLP versus the performance of the PNP. That's the argument that needs to be made. That is how people need to decide who they're going to vote for. Who is best for Jamaica? Peace, love, we're out.